A lot of people love to watch Beaulo, whether it's because they like his content, his stream, or maybe the pro league aspect of his career. Either way, Beaulo is a household name to the Siege community, mainly for his above average aim and mechanics. But is he really that good? In today's video, I'll be breaking down one of his ranked games from his stream to see if Beaulo is really worth the hype. Let's get into it. As you can see, we're on Skyscraper right now. Seems to be roaming. No utility placement at all. No ADS is being set up. He's reinforcing for the roam, which is cool. Puts one ADS down. Not reinforcing any of the other walls for his roam, though. That's not good. One thing I do want to point out, though, throughout this entire round is he consistently aims head level, which is something that a lot of people actually don't do even in the higher elo. But look at him. Always head level. Always head level. Always, always, always. He's going to do a run out with his teammate. He impacts the air jab to get a run out. Doesn't actually go off. So this is what I would point out first of all. He knows that there's a guy top black based off of a call out. He knows there's a guy on this window. He also hears and gets a call out for a guy in Geisha, yet he positions himself in front of this doorway for a guy top black and dies to Geisha, right? Terrible, terrible positioning. What he could have done when he knew someone was coming up right here, instead of hugging this wall and dying to Geisha, he could have been where Legion was and watched Black Stairs. He could have been in Karaoke. He could have been holding a long angle from deep inside of T. He could have been even at the top of Black Stairs. Doesn't matter. Where he positioned himself there was terrible. He exposed himself to way too many angles. He knew there was a guy Geisha. He heard him. He second-guessed himself, and he died because of it. Him using his great aim to make up for lack of positioning is a very common theme and common error that you're going to see throughout Beaulo's gameplay in today's video, and it's something that I wanted to point out round 1 because it is what gets him killed. Legion clutches up though, 3v2. When he dies though, he gets on cams and gives a call out that wins his team the round though, so at least he has the game sense to know to get on cams and give calls and not just spectate his teammates, so that was pretty cool, but again, his positioning was pretty bad there. Overall, not a good round for Beaulo, but me and everyone here knows that this isn't him really at his best. He made a few mistakes, but we all have our bad rounds. This is what's known as a test round for most content creators. You kind of just run around doing whatever you want to do, not really trying too hard to test if your enemies are good or bad, and then you act and play accordingly. So I'm not going to judge Beaulo too much based off of this round. So let's go into the next round to see if he dials in a tad bit more and starts to try and do his best a little bit more. So he's actually setting up sight here, which is good. He makes a rotate, he reinforces another wall. He's also playing a zombie, which is a lot more utility heavy operator. So it seems like in terms of actual utility usage, he is starting to dial in a little bit more because he realizes that he can get shit on by these people that he's going against. Reinforcing a lot of walls, staying on site as an anchor, actually using his barricades in a good way. He's off site, trying to go for an early pick here, but he's playing it safe. Eventually comes back to site because he realizes that 3 people are off site and there's only 1 person on site. This is really, really good. Like I said, he's anchoring because he realizes that there's a lack of presence on the bomb site. So whenever you anchor, the one thing you should be doing is getting on cameras because the people who are roaming are the first people that are actually going to see players. You getting on cameras as well can help your roamers know where the enemies are going to be pushing them from and win your roamers a lot more gunfights. He utilizes this perfectly. He gets on cams and he says, hey, Sledge is right here. And then his roamers are going to act accordingly and get a kill. This is very, very good on Beaulo's part. He's starting to anchor, use a bit more utility, get on cams, maybe be more of a team player because he realizes that he can die to these kids and they're not that bad. Let's continue the round. Giving callouts to his teammates like watch pantry. One thing I also want to point out is he is constantly moving. This is the sign of an exceptional player with good game sense and good mechanics. One thing that you'll see with anybody who is playing the game on a professional level is the fact that they are constantly moving. They're not holding an angle for more than like 5 seconds. And if they are, then they probably know that someone is there and they're just waiting for them to hop in and die. Beaulo constantly moving, checking different angles, checking different windows, using sound cues to check different windows, and he's constantly moving to see where the enemies are. This is a sign of a really, really, really good player. And when you watch really good players, you typically will see them move around a lot, like Spoit, Shock, and of course Beaulo. Let's continue the round and see how it closes out. Constantly moving, constantly moving. He's at an angle, holds it for a few seconds, and then he gets off of the angle. Holds that angle for a few seconds. Holds that angle for a few seconds. His positioning here is outstanding. This was an off angle. This right here in this corner is an off angle. He also is switching angles and holding different things depending on what his teammate is doing. So when his Legion called out, hey, I'm holding the window, he starts to hold the staircase instead because he knows that there's a guy below, right? And what he's doing also by holding angles and not swinging aggressively is he is wasting time. He knows that the attackers still have a lot of time left. So if he can hold angles, waste a lot of time, not give them free picks, he's doing his job correctly. This is a sign of high game sense, and it is something that Beaulo is really good at doing in this particular round. Let's continue. Using utility, holding angles. He uses an impact grenade as a distraction to get him maybe a free wall bang here, but also give him another angle if he wants to use it. Then he holds this angle here, gets a free kill, Now, this is something I want to point out. He repositions after every single kill that he gets. This is something that is super important, and again, it is a sign of a really, really good player. If you kill somebody, the person that you killed is going to call out where you are, meaning the attackers have information on where you are, and they can easily pre-fire you or kill you with said information. If you want to mitigate this, you just reposition after every kill, which is something that Beaulo does here, and it is something that he does consistently throughout his gameplay. Let's continue and finish out the round. Nice. He gets a free wallbang because he gets a call out with pretty good game sense. The guy said he's crouched on bar, so he immediately pre-fires crouch level in bar. Super good game sense, super good mechanics. He gets a free kill and closes out the round. This round, Beaulo did a lot better. You can tell that after losing the first round and losing his life, he actually started trying to win instead of trying to get kills. He positioned himself way better using off angles, he used way more utility, and he even made high-level decisions on par with what you'd expect from him on a regular basis. Let's see if this momentum continues for the next round. Starting out with some positivity, he's playing Mozzie. I like it. That's a terrible Mozzie pest. Using his Mozzie pest on site is fine if he's going to be playing on site and using cameras. But as you can see, he's reinforcing upstairs. He's probably going to play upstairs. So if anything, he should have saved those Mozzie pests and used them for his own roam to waste more time, waste information, and hopefully get a better roam presence on the board. But actually reinforcing upstairs when his teammates aren't doing it, super important. He sees that they have 3 roamers right now. There's only 1 person on site. If anything, because his Mozzie pests are on site, he should come back. He seems to be at least near site. This is good. And right there, he uses a sound cue of the person shooting open a barricade with a DMR to get a free kill. This is super important. You can be aggressive. There's nothing wrong with being aggressive. Beaulo is aggressive a lot, right? That is one of his mistakes. But you can be aggressive if you have information and at the right time in the right place. Being aggressive is not necessarily a terrible thing to do. You just have to utilize it in a correct way, which Beaulo seems to do here. I want to point out that kill as well. Beaulo actually had terrible positioning here. He gets the kill, but it was pretty lucky. I think any other player without Beaulo's aim and the same positioning would have lost there. I don't know if you saw because the video is sped up at 2 times speed, but the sledge actually shot him first, and Beaulo didn't have much time to react. But because he's really good at aiming, instead of using his positioning to not be in that gunfight in the first place, he just aimed him and killed him anyways. Any other player with that same positioning would have died, which further highlights the fact that Beaulo had terrible positioning here. All he did was walk in the middle of a hallway with no quick peeking, no information, and he got shot and lost a lot of HP for it, and in a normal scenario, he probably would have died for it. So this is, again, another example of him having bad positioning, but using his aim to mitigate and make up for it. Let's continue the video. So he used a call out to get a free kill there. He had good positioning. He held an off angle. That was actually like a pretty good game sense and mechanical move from Beaulo. Again, consistently aiming head level, something that he's really, really, really good at. Let's continue. He hears pantry, he hears kitchen, and then someone calls out BBQ and he gets the kill. Now, again, consistently aiming head level always. And again, consistently moving. He got a kill, he moved away. He heard a sound cue, he moved towards the sound cue. He heard a call out, he moved towards the call out. He's constantly just moving, constantly aiming head level, which are 2 signs of a really, really good player. The only issue, again, is the positioning, which has further come out in another round aside from round 1. So that is really the only problem. So again, another great round from Beaulo. He got a lot of kills, and you can start to see his confidence as a player come back this round after winning round 2 through his gameplay. Again, a consistent issue I'm noticing, however, is he's crutching his aim to make up for bad positioning. It is ranked, and he isn't trying his hardest, however, so I'll give him some leeway there, but some of the kills he got, most players, again, with the same positioning but worse aim, would have died. Let's continue to see if he fixes his issue, or if he lets his aim do most of the work. He's getting a cutoff cam, it seems like. I mean, unless he's pushing here, this camera's not really good because most likely they're going to be upstairs in karaoke. He says they have a warden, that's pretty good. But overall, he's not really doing much here. He is pushing with his camera. Okay, so that's actually excusable. He's going to drone and then maybe call. That is good. That is good. That's one thing I want to highlight as Dokkaebi. You only want to really drone out the initial room. You don't really need to drone all the rooms around you because, again, if you're calling with Dokkaebi, you'll know if someone is in any of the adjacent rooms to your drone. So having a pre-placed drone like he did to then use to call for roam clearing is actually really smart, and it's really, really good. He doesn't hear anybody on the call except for a kid top house stairs. His teammates are getting 2 kills. He sees that there's an Amaro. He sees the phone. He sees that his team is rushing. If I were him, I would try to maybe throw some flash grenades into the hallway, maybe get a Dokkaebi call going to further support his team who is rushing instead of trying to go for kills. Let's see what Beaulo does. Looks like he's going for kills. Still just looking for a kill, not giving his teammates a call. Goes for the kill. And he trades. So, like, he should have really just called there. He had 3 teammates next to that guy that swung and killed him, so they could have easily killed him, and calling there also would have protected his planter, maybe even throwing some flash grenades into the hallway to protect his planter again would have been the move to do there. He also was holding out his SMG to get a little stream clip. It's whatever. But regardless, Beaulo didn't do much that round. It was a 4-0 victory across the board, so that's good. So now that we've given him an actual VOD review, let's answer the question of today's video. Is Beaulo actually as good as most people think? Well, the answer is undoubtedly yes. I think that a lot of players look at Beaulo and think that he's all aim and no brain, but there's more to Beaulo than meets the eye. A lot of the reasons people don't think Beaulo is good is because he doesn't try his best half the time on stream. Make no mistake, however, if Beaulo was trying 100% of the time, he would be an almost perfect player. With that out of the way, check out this video where I go over why shotguns are the new meta. My name's Alka, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Later.